Hi, welcome to ASP.NET. This is Christian. In this video, we're going to do a little demo on how you can use controls to read input and then also use them as output. And in this exercise, we're going to create a little web page application, and we'll read three numbers from three input fields, and we'll just do a little code to check which one is the largest number, and we'll display the number back to the browser. Okay, so create a new page in here. I'm using a project called ASP Server Controls. I'm just using the empty template here. So create a new file, new web form. We'll call this largest number. So when you create a form like this, it always adds a code behind file, and the code behind the file here is the class name. Okay, the class will instantiate an object called this web document, so that because this is an object of that same file, you can actually access its data back here. You can call its functions and other data from there. So they are kind of synchronized or linked together. Alright, so this is the form here. I'm going to create 3 text box. You can do in the code, you can drag and drop here, whichever you want to do is fine. And I'll make it really quick, so we're going to go and drag a text box, put it here. Okay, and then I'll drag another one. I'll drag 3 of them. Okay, so the first one is going to just say, I'll put txt for text box, num1, txt num2, and txt num3. Now you can do this as well using the properties window here. You click on it, you can change the text ID here if you want. The ID here, you can change its value. If you want to go and change its default, add a default text, for example, just say if you like 12 will be the default, it adds that automatically for you here, like very nice. Otherwise it will be defaulted to 0 anyway, and then you don't have to put that here, so it'll be 0 by default. So 3 numbers. I'm going to put a line break here, and then I will create a button. This button's going to be just submit. Okay, we'll give it a name, btn submit. I typed it wrong. btn submit. Okay, and the text would say submit. Now I need to have an event associated with this, so you can do in the code by on click equals and then the new event. Click on that, and by default it will use the ID name followed by an underscore and the word click, because it's a click event. This function, this handler, will be created automatically behind the code behind file for you, as here. Okay, and this is again in a handler, event handler, because of these 2 parameters. You must have these 2 parameters here to make this work. Otherwise, it will just be a regular function. And if it's a normal function, then you cannot attach it to the onClick event here. Okay, that's just the rule. And you can change the name if you want. If you change to something else, just say, submit my special button, click submit something. Change that, and also change here. But we'll just keep this as default. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to save this file just in case. I'm going to enter 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3. And then I'll click the button here. So back in the code, in here, I need to read those data. So when we'll assume that those are just integer numbers for now. If it's a decimal number, a float, or a double, you want to use that. But we'll just say this is whole numbers only. So I have an integer number n1, and then this is going to be coming from the txt number1 dot text. Okay, and you will see that because I'm using the integer type, this one here is a string. Okay, so anything that goes out to the web page will always be export or display as a string. Anything that comes in from a web page to your code here always comes in as a string. It doesn't matter if they may look like numbers or something like that. They always can be string. And so if you want to use string, then that's fine. I mean, you don't have to do any conversion because it's a string. But because it's an integer type, that means you have to cast this. Okay, you have to convert this to a integer type. And so to do that, you have to wrap this inside a special function called int.parse. Okay, and this function takes one parameter. It's just a string of numbers. Okay, not text, numbers. And it will convert that to integer type. If this is a double, then you just change this to a double. Okay, and so on. So there's one for each of those primitive types. So there's a character, there's double, there's a boolean, and so on. Okay, so we'll leave it as int. So I'll do the same for the other two. I'm just going to copy this 2 times. 2 and 3. So this is int2, and then this is text 2 and 3. Sorry, 3 here. Okay, can do a format. There's a format somewhere. Well, I don't remember where, but anyways, Control KD. So I'll write those 3 numbers, and then we can check those 3 numbers, right? Remember one of your assignments? If n1 is larger than n2, right? And n2 and 1 is larger than n3, then this must be the largest number for n1. Else, if n2 is larger than n3, then n2 must be the largest, else must be n3. Okay, so this is your typical way to get the largest number. That means I need to put an output out here somewhere. So go back to the code here. We're going to add another field, maybe like reload the button here. I'll put 2BR, maybe here too, just enough. Make sure I have enough space. And down here, put a label. So put a label here, drag and drop it here. The label will be the LBL result, and we'll put the result here. We'll leave it a blank. Okay. And we'll put a text out here. We can put another text. Just say largest number is that. And we'll put the output in the text field. So keep that blank. Okay, so save this file. Go back in here. That means the largest will be n. So we'll put the LBL largest. What I call it? Did I call it something else completely different? ID is the LBL result. Okay. LBL result dot text is going to be the n1. Okay. Notice that it doesn't like n because n is a number, an integer. Again, I mentioned earlier, whatever is displayed must be converted to text or string. So that's why you have to say toString. You call that function and you force that to be a string. Okay, and then here would be LBL result dot text is equal n2 toString. And then this is the n3. Equals n3 dot 3 dot toString. Okay, see if this is correct. So we save this file, then go back here. Everything looks good. And I'm gonna click and run. I'll run without debug, so it's a little bit faster. And these text fields might be a little bit long, but you can change the width of those by using the width attribute. and it's still loading. So here we have it. So it's a pretty big file. Okay, so here it is. So I can put numbers like 12, 13, and 14. Then if I click submit, it tells me that 14 is the largest. Okay, so that's true. If I put 121 here, and that should be the largest, right? True. So 131 should be the largest, right? So if that's the case, I put that there, submit, and there it is. That's true. Okay, so that's how you will convert numbers, from a string text to numbers of that type, and when you output back to the text box or anything to the web page, you have to convert your numbers or non-string to string type in order for it to work. Okay, I hope this is helpful to kind of help you solve the little calculator problem. And if you have any questions, again, just post a comment or send me an email, and thank you.